Of comms.
Of course. Of course. Well, my sister and I are staying with the Marables, so should I go in and ask Dick?
No, I didn't come to see Lord Marable.
Oh.
Season 3 of The Buccaneers is officially happening. That much has been confirmed by Deadline. But there's a growing feeling that the show needs to make some adjustments, especially when it comes to how it handles Paloma's character. Because even though the second season ended with plenty of juicy twists and shocking reveals, some of the storytelling choices, particularly around Paloma, didn't sit right with a lot of people. So it's worth breaking down everything we know about Season 3 while also looking at how the events of Season 2 set up what's next for Nan, Guy, Theo, and the rest of the characters. Right after the Season 2 finale aired, the Buccaneers creator and showrunner Catherine Jakeways spoke about what lies ahead for Nan and her uncertain future. She said, "Absolutely everything's up for grabs, and none of the things that she thought were certain are certain anymore, except for the fact that Nan's got Theo's child in her stomach and he doesn't know about it." That statement alone says a lot about how Season 3 might unfold. Nan's life has been turned upside down. She's free from her marriage, free from her title as Duchess, and, for now, free from Theo knowing the truth about her pregnancy. It puts her in a position where she can make her own choices without anyone's control, which is something she's been fighting for since the beginning. Season 3 will also introduce some new faces and plot lines. The creative team is reportedly looking to cast a new major character, Theo's illegitimate half-brother Kit, who was called back to England in the Season 2 finale to become the new Duke of Tintagel after Theo's abdication. That twist alone opens up a bunch of new political and personal drama within the family. Catherine Jakeways even said she was thrilled about returning to that world again, joking about lacing up corsets and running breathless across the cliffs of Tintagel. It sounds like the creative team and Apple TV Plus are excited to keep the story going, and the audience clearly feels the same way since the renewal came with a lot of fan enthusiasm. Season 2's ensemble cast was already pretty stacked, featuring names like Christina Hendricks, Mia Threppleton, Leighton Meester, Grace Ambrose, Maria Almeida, Amelia Bullmore, Fenella Woolgar, Josh Dillon, Barney Fishwick, Greg Wise, and Jacob Efan. Most of them are expected to return, since their characters still have unfinished arcs. But one character in particular, Paloma, stands out because of how drastically her story shifted in the finale. And that's where things start to get complicated. Nan's situation in the final episode was already difficult enough. She found out she's pregnant with Theo's child, just as Theo decided to give up his title and publicly announce his relationship with Lizzie. At the same time, Nan's mother-in-law, unaware of the pregnancy, decided to bring Theo's secret brother into the picture to keep the Tintagel power within the family. That move alone hints at more chaos in Season 3. And as if all of that wasn't enough, Nan learned in the worst possible way that the man she truly loves, Guy, got drunk and accidentally married another woman in Italy. His new wife, Paloma, didn't seem all that eager to let him go, which made things worse for everyone. Then came the biggest curveball of the finale. Paloma revealed that she had the annulment papers that could free both her and Guy from the unwanted marriage, but she wasn't giving them to him. She kept the papers hidden, essentially trapping him in a relationship neither of them actually wanted, or at least, that's what she claimed. Because even though Paloma insisted that she didn't want to be in a loveless, passionless marriage, her actions said otherwise. It made her look manipulative, as if she was holding Guy hostage emotionally and keeping him from Nan right when it looked like they could finally be together. That twist transformed Paloma from a likable and independent woman into something closer to an antagonist. It was a sharp turn that caught a lot of people off guard, because if you look back at how she was introduced, Paloma was actually one of the most grounded and layered characters in Season 2. She entered the story as Ginny and Guy's Italian landlady, someone who became their ally rather than a threat. She helped Ginny escape from an abusive husband and offered Guy genuine friendship and emotional support. For most of the season, she seemed like a refreshing presence, someone who didn't define herself by the men around her and didn't fit neatly into the show's usual romantic conflicts. But then, everything changed after that one night of drunken passion. Paloma and Guy's unexpected hookup in Episode 5 felt like a moment of liberation for him because he had spent so much of the show pining over Nan. Being with Paloma gave him a break from all that heartache. She didn't pressure him, and she seemed perfectly happy keeping things casual. But by the end of the episode, the situation flipped completely. Suddenly, there was a wedding ring involved, and what started as a brief connection turned into an accidental marriage that neither of them fully understood. When Paloma later showed up in England alongside Guy, she still acted like her old self, calm, supportive, even friendly toward Nan. She knew she wasn't the love of Guy's life, and she didn't pretend otherwise. She complained a bit about living under the shadow of his sadness, but she didn't come across as bitter or jealous. At that point, she was still one of the more likable characters in the series because she handled her circumstances with maturity. That's what made her sudden transformation in the finale so jarring. By hiding the annulment papers, Paloma went from being a symbol of freedom and confidence to someone controlling and dishonest. It was a complete character reversal that didn't feel fully earned. Instead of building on her independence, the writing turned her into another obstacle in the central love story. It made her seem like a cliché, the jealous other woman, which is a shame considering how much potential her character had. It also carried some uncomfortable undertones, as it played into tired stereotypes about passionate and manipulative foreign women. Paloma had been one of the few characters who represented a different way of living and loving in a restrictive society, but the finale essentially stripped that away. Even so, Season 3 offers a chance to fix that. The writers can still redeem Paloma by giving her deeper motivation for her choices. Instead of simply saying she acted out of jealousy, the show could explore what drove her to make such a desperate decision. Maybe she's afraid of being abandoned again, or maybe she feels powerless in a society that doesn't allow women like her much control over their lives. If the writers take the time to dig into her psyche, Paloma could become one of the show's most complex characters instead of just another villain. At this point, the Buccaneers really needs to move past its constant love triangle, or in this case, love hexagon, and focus more on character development. Nan, Guy, and Theo's tangled relationships have carried the story for 2 seasons, but the show is at its best when it explores the friendships and struggles of its female leads. Season 3 should return to that core dynamic. The Season 2 finale also left plenty of other threads dangling. The arrival of Kit as the new Duke of Tintagel promises a fresh wave of tension and mystery. The Dowager's decision to bring him into the fold could easily backfire, especially if Kit turns out to have his own agenda. Her obsession with maintaining family power might end up destroying everything she's worked for. Reed Robinson's reaction hinted that this decision could cause far more trouble than she expects. Meanwhile, the web of romantic entanglements keeps growing. Lizzie has to decide between Theo and Hector, even though Hector's secret is likely to come out soon. Nan's future with Guy depends entirely on whether Paloma decides to let him go. And while Nan is carrying Theo's child, there's still a small chance that the timing or assumptions might be off, which could open up a whole new set of questions about who the baby's father really is. But beyond all that romantic chaos, Season 3 also needs to refocus on the group of women who started it all. Their friendship and individual journeys were the heart of the series in Season 1, and it would be great to see that energy return. Nan has to decide if she'll keep choosing her independence over love. Conchita needs to find a way to heal from her grief. Ginny deserves happiness after escaping an abusive marriage. Mabel has to figure out what gives her purpose beyond society's expectations, and Lizzie still needs to define who she is outside of other people's stories. So while Season 2 ended with chaos, betrayals, and shifting alliances, it also created room for reinvention. The Buccaneers has a chance to grow into something even better in Season 3, as long as it handles its characters, especially Paloma, with the depth and care they deserve. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.